Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. My name is Matsepo, and as I said in the intro video, that I really want to dive into kind of hard questions relating to faith and God and philosophy. And given the COVID crisis, I've been thinking of the question about God and suffering, and what that means, you know. And because this is a massive question, literally spans over thousands of years, we're not going to get through everything in one video. What I want to do though is to lean into the tension, to lean into the discomfort that people tend to avoid because they just want to answer the question, right? So one of the first people to articulate this dilemma of an all-powerful, really good God and the existence of evil was a Greek philosopher named Epicurus, and he posed it in the form of a dilemma, right? So is God willing to prevent evil but not able to? Then he's not powerful. Is God able to prevent evil but not willing to? Then he's not good. If God is both able and willing, then why do we have evil? Why do we have so much suffering? And I think that can be, applied to the question of suffering. And I think, as much as obviously I'm studying philosophy, so see the value in it. As much as philosophy aims to answer questions about life and meaning, I think that when we try to answer a personal problem in philosophical terms, it leaves us wanting, right? Because a God of philosophy is a God of non-contradictions, is a God of either or, and that kind of God would lack the nuances of a personal God. So, and we can see why this falls apart with such a deeply emotional and a deeply personal problem like suffering. So if I had to say, for an example, just to show why, we can't try to articulate a very personal problem in philosophical terms, if I were to say that, God is both just and merciful, philosophically, it would be a contradiction for God to be both of those things at the same time, right? Because he'd either have to be just, punishing every act of wrongdoing, or he's merciful and he forgives people without the punishment. Whereas personal God can hold both of those things without it being a contradiction. And so I've seen this question being posed, the question of, but okay, where is God in the midst of the world being on fire? And I've seen both religious people and skeptics trying to answer that in their own ways, where religious folk will have it's almost like they're trying to hold on to the belief that no, but God is still good and he's still powerful, therefore the world is not on fire, everything is fine, right? And with skeptics, they'll, pose the question of, do you see where he's gone? He's always quiet. He's always quiet in times of disaster. And the really interesting intersection, or the really dark place between those two groups, is with some religious folk will say, yes, this is God's judgment, we are getting what we deserved. And skeptics will say, oh yeah, no, he's done with the human project. And this is the reset button, this is how he wipes us all out. And yeah, I don't think that's a very correct response. I mean, people can respond, but personally, I don't think so. I would say, rather, instead of asking the question of where is God when we're suffering, the right kind of question is who is he? And the writers of the Bible point us to a God who embraces human suffering, who responds to it very personally, right? Through Jesus, or in the life and in the death of Jesus, we see a God who doesn't give us a set of instructions for what to do, when times are hard. But he takes it on personally. He, excuse me, allows the grief and the disappointment and the ache and the hurt and the suffering that characterize the human experience to crush him, so that it doesn't have to crush us, so that we never have to be completely overcome by hurt or pain. And so, yeah, I think also, there's this expectation that we tend to have with God, that things should be, because he's good and he's powerful, that things should be fine. But given the way things are, God can't exempt us from the human experience. It's just not possible for that to happen. And so if you find yourself right in either one of these groups, either as a religious person who's employed this kind of denialism, that everything it's fine, there will be a day where it won't be. And I'm not saying that because I'm mean or rude, but that's just how things are, right? There will come a time in your life where the skeptics question of, but where is God? It will really hit home. And for the skeptics, who find themselves asking that question about where is he, he's close. God is close, and I've struggled with this question, right? Sometime towards the end of last year, one of my friends passed away, and yeah, the kind of grief has been unparalleled. I think for the first few weeks, I just kept asking, so what happened? Where were you? Where were you? And I think even if God were to give me like detailed account of the events surrounding what happened to my friend, it wouldn't be enough. Because I don't want answers, I want him back. I want my world to return, to a state of normalcy. But that's not gonna happen. And even in the really, really hard days, like God's been really close. He's been really, really, really close to me. And as painful as all of this is, I don't think it'll ever define me, and so yeah, I think I guess I just made this video to kind of lean into the tensions of where is God, what does it mean for there to exist a God who is good and kind and who cares for human beings in a world where things just don't always go according to plan. Maybe in another video I can talk about and try to unpack these expectations, right? Like, oh, God is powerful, therefore he can do anything. But like I just said earlier, God's power, it can't, it won't. But yeah, thanks for joining me. If you have comments, questions, things, you can leave those in the comment section. And I'll see you guys soon.